like to thank Willem and Anett Oswald for having us on their beautiful boat, Celtic Spirit. They were former students here at Narragansett Sailing School. And we have Glenn Miner, who was their instructor from Central New York. So I just have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind answering.
Sure.
When did you start thinking about sailing, and what drove you to want to learn how to sail?
I've been a sailor pretty much since I was a kid. Grew up on a river and windsurfing and boating and all sorts of things. And then that morphed into racing when I was in college and thereafter. And then we've had this sailboat in our family since about 2002. So we've been on the bay here for a while. I always had big dreams of going into blue water. That's what this boat was built for. And then Anett came along.
And I am from Hungary, a landlocked country. I have no sailing background at all. I learned sailing on this boat, and we've always been bay sailing. We used to live in New York City, so we would come up on the weekends and spend almost every weekend in the summer here. And we had this idea of taking the boat to the Caribbean. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly 2 years ago, right about now. And we decided to make it happen. So for that, we knew that we needed some extra training because we have been bay sailors, but not offshore sailors.
Yeah, I think it was really important for us to feel good about it ourselves, to make our family feel like we are prepared. We like to be prepared and educated. So that's what set us down the journey of finding the right school and the right classes.
Yeah.
Which brings me to what brought you to Narragansett Sailing School.
We wanted to get certified. We knew that. I think it was to prove to our families, but also ourselves, that we are ready, as ready as it can get you, right? It gives you the foundations of setting you up for success. And so we were looking for ASA certifications, and that's how we stumbled upon Narragansett Sailing School. You offered the certifications that we were looking for.
Yeah, you were one of the only schools that offered more than just the simple learn to sail classes. You offered the coastal cruising and offshore and catamaran cruising classes. And turns out we were actually winterized in the same place as you guys. So it was really fun when we called and, hey, we're here. Can we chat? And you were nice enough to invite us into your office and give us a rundown of what you offer. And you were kind of like old school business, where you were very personable and easy to talk to and very flexible on helping us with what we needed to do and with what you had to offer, it was the second we talked to you, we knew this was what we wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. And just to clarify, ASA, for those who don't know, is American Sailing Association, which is an awesome association that has very structured curriculum.
Right.
So that's a good choice. And what class did you take with us?
So we tested out of the basics, and then, which is, I believe, the 101 and the 103, and then we did the 105 and 106. We had managed to actually,
the 104
the 104 as well. Yep, sorry, I don't want to miss anything there.
Right.
Yep, perfect. We managed to figure out a way to work together to actually get one of your instructors, who was also a captain, Captain Glenn Miner here, to come onto our boat. So that was one of the things we really appreciated when we looked at it. The standard offering is you for those higher level classes, you basically rent a bunk or rent a space on a class boat and go off with a bunch of other people. And our boat was here, and I think it was your idea actually to say, hey, why don't you just rent a captain who is also an instructor for a week on your own boat? Now you're doing it on your own boat. He could show you around how to do things on your own boat, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that was really important to us. We didn't feel like it was worth it for us to rent a boat when we already had ours, and that way we could get it was a private lesson, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and it's so beneficial to do a class on your own boat. This is what you're going to be sailing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not teach you all the ins and outs of your own boat? Not only the sailing portion, but the boat systems class.
Exactly.
And Glenn, who is just awesome, that comes from Central New York to teach for us. And we do try to give him many days in a course, because he is driving 5 hours. So Glenn, do you have anything that you want to say? I mean, you spent how long with these?
It's been a week basically, 5 days or something like that.
Lived aboard, a week, a better part of a week with these guys, and they're wonderful. I couldn't wait to hear what their adventure was all about. So hearing a little bit now, I drive. It's a minimum of 5 hours to come out here because I love Narragansett Bay. The winds are always up. You always have sailing, a good sailing environment, and this school in particular, Narragansett Sailing School, like Willem said earlier, offers the higher level courses, and I was really, it's a passion of mine, and I was really impassioned to get certified to teach the higher level courses, and I just love it. It's just one of those things. So that's what motivates me to come out here. Usually a week to 2 weeks out of every month in the sailing season. But yeah, this is great.
Yeah, and the multi-day trip was really important to us too, because we knew that we are preparing for a longer trip where we will be spending weeks traveling on the boat. And even though Coastal Cruising 106 doesn't include overnight, but we did want to do something where we stayed for a longer period of time on the boat. So that was very helpful that you could come out for spend 5 days with us and travel quite far and back with us. So that was good.
And that allowed us to see varying weather conditions and varying current things and all
definitely
that.
Gives you a better opportunity for more kinds of weather over the course of 5 days versus a weekend or whatever it is.
And in particular, we knew a storm was coming, actually a pretty powerful storm, and we were able to hunker down and cuddy hunk, I guess that would be the term.
Yep.
And we had, knowing that was coming, we were able to do that ahead of time, and we saw, I think, 70 knot winds come through, but we were in a safe spot, and that's all part of it to know,
Exactly.
how to outrun it or how to avoid it.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And just to clarify, what Anett said, the advanced coastal cruising, we do stay on board a boat. Oh, I thought you had said that we don't.
No, I was referring to being on the boat overnight, traveling overnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Part of that comes into play. It all depends on whether the currents are running a certain ways, but part of it is to be traveling and understand
in the dark.
The night sail is important.
Yep.
And that was very, very helpful to us because when we were with Glenn, it was our first time going out at night ever. Yeah. And honestly, we were scared. And that really helped us be more comfortable, even though, it wasn't a super long period of time, but we did it. We went out there, we did man overboard drills at night, and we both were at the helm practicing maneuvering the boat, getting to the man overboard perfectly. And so that was very, very helpful, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the many things that really, my goal as being a sailor already, my goal with these courses was to polish up on the fundamentals and the rules and the things that maybe I didn't learn just from sailing, and then also to build that confidence. Glenn is super confident because he's been sailing and done a lot of deliveries, and he instilled upon us through knowledge and through confidence that we could be confident as well. And that's, I think, the biggest barrier to entry, whether you never sailed before or never cruised before or never gone offshore, is being able to build up that confidence in yourself that you can do it. And we felt that the way to do that was through education and through experience. And so that's what the Narragansett Sailing School gave us, was that fundamental education and then that experience transfer from Glenn's great experience and Mary's school experience to us. And that kind of empowered us even more to just head offshore.
Which leads right into the next question of what would you say to new sailors or people who want to cruise? What would be your golden nugget for them, wisdom to give them?
I think short and sweet is that just get out there. I think a lot of sailors say this, but that's really all it is. The more experience you have on the boat, the more confident you are and the more comfortable you are, and the more you know your boundaries, and that's what makes you feel safe, because ultimately you need to feel safe, and without those things it's very hard to. So practice makes great experience.
And I think the other thing to add to that is you don't have to go out and buy a big boat and do big things. There shouldn't be a huge financial barrier. You can get in a little boat, learn how to sail, go with friends, find people that want to sail with you, obviously post COVID, but find schools like Narragansett Sailing School to help you just get the confidence with the fundamentals to start off with, and then as you would get more experience, grow, and don't be afraid. just look out at the open ocean and understand the freedom that you get when you're on the water, and it's just amazing, and you will enjoy it once you get over that initial fear, or fear that isn't really fear, because it's fear of the unknown. Once you get the known, which is the knowledge, just go for it. It's so fun, and it's totally worth it. And the thing that's most amazing about sailing is, in reality, it's available to any budget. You don't have to be super wealthy to be a sailor. You can have a little boat. You can go on friends' boats.
Yes. Just
get out there. Yeah. That's really what matters.
It's really good medicine right now.
Absolutely.
The times that we're living in.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
What I would say is, can you briefly synopsize your destinations this past winter? You did 5,500 miles, but you stopped, and that way give everybody a feel for what you actually accomplished.
And all of this is compared to really staying within the Narragansett Bay previously.
Yeah.
So we went from Rhode Island. We took a nonstop trip down to Cape May, New Jersey. From New Jersey, we traveled with one stop to Virginia, to the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, where we met a rally. We did join a rally to travel south. From Virginia, we went straight to Tortola BVI, which was a 1,500-mile trip. We had 2 friends with us who were non-sailors as crew, so it was 4 of us on the boat, which was very helpful. And from there, we bounced around the Caribbean. Our goal was to get all the way to Antigua, and we did. The tough part was obviously going east against the trades, but we found very good weather windows. We were super lucky with it. We went to from BVI to St. Martin. From St. Martin, we went over to St. Bart's to take a look. Back to St. Martin, then down to St. Kitts and Nevis. From there, we went east to Antigua, Barbuda, and we went all the way back. And on the way back north, we came through USVI, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, and that's unfortunately when the pandemic hit and countries started shutting down. So we immediately returned to the United States. And since we couldn't spend as much time as we wanted in the Bahamas, we spent a lot of time traveling up the coast. So we actually took only one overnight trip from Cape May to New York City, but other than that, they were all day trips. So that's also a possibility. Don't have to go huge long trips to make long distances.
That's outstanding. That's I think what everybody dreams of doing is some sort of big trip like that, and now it's a lifestyle for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it went like this, and it wasn't as hard as we dreamt it to be, right? And that's the key, right? The fact that if you have the right tools and the right mindset and build a little confidence in yourself, you can do anything. I mean, you have to understand, your boat goes 5, 6, maybe 7 knots if you're really, really cooking. So 5,500 miles at that speed is pretty slow, but it's definitely the stuff we saw, the amazing bright ocean and stuff is just amazing. So,
which leads us to what's next.
Well, we wanted to take a sabbatical for our jobs in New York City when we left for this trip, but unfortunately both of our jobs were such that they couldn't allow us to leave for a year and return. So we are actually not returning to our own jobs. Instead, or our past jobs. Instead, we are continuing to build our business, Catamaran Supply, which we started a year and a half ago. So just right around the time when we were preparing for this trip, which it gave us the idea to start it. So right now we are working on Catamaran Supply full time.
Yeah, and the concept behind Catamaran Supply is to help make a modern marine supply business that's easy to navigate, easy to find things, fair prices, but on top of that, a place where you can learn. So we're teaming up with other people as well as our own content, building out learn content so you can DIY a lot of things instead of having to spend a lot of money with professionals in some instances when you don't necessarily have to. And then lastly, we think it's really important that we give back to the community, building a community around our business and giving back to the community, getting people into sailing. So a big portion of our business is philanthropic, where we are teaming up with various organizations for the ocean, for the environment, and community sailing schools to give back a portion of our proceeds and kind of rally around getting more people into sailing and making sailing more inclusive, because at the end of the day, it's the ocean, it's the river, it's the lakes. Everybody should be out there enjoying it, enjoying the freedom, enjoying the open air, keeping socially distant, but really having that freedom that only being on open water allows.
Well said.
Well said. And thank you so much for letting us be part of your story. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for getting us started on this trip.
You guys have been so helpful, so great. I mean, you were so helpful when we had a couple snafus in the beginning, getting our boat going, and just, I mean, coming up with the idea of having Captain Glenn on the boat on our boat was just so amazing. And really, I can't stress it enough. Those fundamentals really gave us the confidence. It was scary at first. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Definitely scary at first. We had some weather on our first trip, which really seasoned us well. But at the end of the day, we've learned so much since then. And that foundation that you guys gave us was really, really paramount.
Very good.
Awesome. Thank you.